Since we were leaving this house today, my sister-in-law made her shocking declaration. From now on, my daughter and her husband will be living here. You two don't need to stay anymore. We'll take care of the $473 loan every month, so you can move out. Her words struck me like a hammer. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. All right then, I replied. Please take care of everything from now on. It was unbelievable. After everything Tom and I had done to support his parents, they so easily shifted their trust to his younger sister, and now, without hesitation, they were letting her replace us. As I packed up my belongings and reached the entrance, I turned to them once more. "Oh, by the way," I said, lowering my voice slightly, "there seems to be a little misunderstanding. The monthly loan repayment isn't what you think it is." At those words, all of their faces drained of color, as though the floor had suddenly vanished beneath their feet. "My name is Emily. I'm 35 years old, and I work as an office manager at a large company. I've been married to Tom for 3 years. Tom and I first met through a mutual friend who insisted that we would be perfect together. At the time, I thought it was just another blind date that wouldn't go anywhere. But the moment we started talking, something clicked. Tom had a way of listening intently, of making me feel seen and valued, that I hadn't experienced with anyone else before. After that, we continued to see each other, our relationship flowing naturally and without obstacles. About 2 years later, Tom proposed to me in the most sincere, heartfelt way. I didn't hesitate for a second before saying yes. Both our families approved of the match, and our wedding was a warm celebration, filled with relatives and friends who wished us happiness. Life as newlyweds was sweet. We both worked, and since Tom had lived alone for many years, he was capable with cooking and housework. We divided chores evenly. If I came home late, Tom would already be preparing dinner, and if he was busy, I would step in. There was no resentment, only teamwork. It felt like we were walking side by side, equally invested in building our life together. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. Our marriage remained strong, our affection unwavering. But then, something happened that began to change everything. One evening, Tom received a call. His father had collapsed and been rushed to the hospital. We hurried there, hearts pounding. "Dad, are you all right?" Tom asked anxiously when we reached his bedside. His father forced a weak smile. "Tom, Emily, thank you for coming. Sorry for worrying you. I must have overexerted myself." He had been a workaholic for decades, pouring his life into his career. Now, age and accumulated stress had caught up with him. Though his condition stabilized, the doctor warned us that he was at risk of relapse. My mother-in-law was visibly shaken. Her husband had always been the pillar of their family. To see him vulnerable, confined to a hospital bed, broke her spirit. Tom and I began visiting regularly, doing whatever we could to help. A week later, his father was discharged, but it was clear that he could no longer live life as he used to. That's when Tom approached me with an idea. "Emily, what if we live with my parents? They'll need us close by." It wasn't a difficult decision. If my parents were in the same situation, I'd want to be there for them too. "Of course," I answered. "Let's talk to them about it." At first, his parents were hesitant, worried about being a burden, but when Tom reassured them, they accepted with tears in their eyes. That was how we began living together. For a while, everything went smoothly. My mother-in-law took over most of the household chores, knowing we were both working full-time. My father-in-law, now retired, rested at home and regained some of his health. We adjusted. We laughed together, and the household found a new rhythm. Then, one evening, my father-in-law brought up an idea over dinner. "I've been thinking, this house is a bit cramped for 4 adults. If Tom and Emily have children in the future, it'll be even smaller. What do you say we build a new 2-family home? A place where we can all live comfortably for the rest of our lives." At first, I was taken aback, but the more we thought about it, the more sense it made. Their old house was cozy, but not spacious. If we were going to live together long term, we would need more space to prevent conflict. After many discussions, we agreed. The 4 of us toured properties, considered layouts, and discussed finances. We wanted a home that was safe, barrier-free for the in-laws, close to hospitals and shops, and convenient for commuting. It wouldn't be cheap, but we were determined to make it work. At last, our dream home was built, a brand new house with plenty of room, a garden for future children to play in, and warm, inviting interiors that reflected all our hopes. "This is wonderful," my mother-in-law said, her eyes shining. "I need to stay healthy so I can enjoy this place for many more years." Tom and I were equally thrilled. We imagined family barbecues, children running through the yard, countless happy memories in the making. For 2 years, we lived in peace, our household harmonious. But then, Tom's younger sister began visiting. She was beautiful, pampered, and accustomed to attention. The in-laws doted on her endlessly, as she was their youngest, born when they were already older. For a while, she seemed harmless, but gradually, her visits became more frequent, her words more pointed. "Wow, this house is amazing. It's not fair that only you get to live here," she remarked one afternoon, strolling through the living room. "What are you talking about? We all worked hard to make this home a reality," I replied calmly. "Still, I can't help but feel envious. While you're living here in luxury, we're still stuck in a tiny apartment. Doesn't seem very balanced, does it?" she pressed, her tone half joking but sharp. At first, we brushed off her comments, but as time went on, her envy turned into open hostility. She began suggesting, half seriously, that it would be better if she lived here with our parents instead, and to our dismay, we noticed our in-laws' expressions soften whenever she spoke that way. I tried to laugh it off, but a cold unease began creeping into my chest. Little did I know, her casual remarks were only the beginning, and soon, she would make her move to take everything from us. "Unfair. We've been paying the mortgage for this house, and it's a hefty amount every month. We're living within our means, earning enough to cover it, so there's no reason for her to complain. If we all lived here with the in-laws, it would actually be fun, don't you think?" My sister-in-law's voice cut through the room, sharp and entitled. "What can you even know about the market for this house?" I snapped back, unable to hold myself. Tom and I exchanged a glance. We both realized she probably blurted it out without much thought, but careless as her words were, they struck something inside my in-laws. I could see it in their eyes. They were tempted. "It would be lovely if Ka could move in and live here together," my father-in-law said softly. "Yes, it would liven things up," my mother-in-law added with a smile. My heart dropped. "Hey, what are you two talking about? Haven't we been living together all this while?" I asked, trying to lighten the mood. "Oh, come on, I was just saying," my sister-in-law replied innocently. "Exactly. There's no need to panic, right? Haha," Tom added, trying to diffuse the tension. But the truth was obvious. They adored her more. They always had. Even their little dog, Mercer, wagged his tail more at her. With her delicate features and doll-like looks, she had been spoiled since childhood. Born 4 years after Tom, when their parents were older and softer, she had always been pampered. Tom had warned me about her before we married, her demanding nature, her habit of being catered to, yet after we tied the knot, she surprised us by keeping her distance for a while. We thought maybe things would be fine, but recently, her eyes lingered too long on our new house. One day she visited and stood up to leave as I returned home. "Oh, Emily, you're back. Then I'll be going now," she said sweetly. "Huh? I wish you'd stay a little longer," I replied politely, though inside I wanted nothing more than for her to go. "But Tom and Emily might find it inconvenient," she said, pretending to be considerate. "I don't think it's a nuisance," I insisted, masking my irritation. "You might say that, but your eyes and behavior tell the truth. Unwanted guests should leave quickly. See you, Mom and Dad," she called out as she swept out the door. When she left, the in-laws' faces clouded. They looked disappointed, almost mournful, as if they wished she had stayed. They didn't say it aloud, but I could feel it in the air. I began retreating to my room after work, avoiding the heavy silence that spread across the dinner table each night. Tom noticed it too. Long pauses, tense glances, the warmth fading. Slowly, he began to suspect what I already felt, that his sister was the root of our troubles. And then, one holiday, she made her move. Tom and I came home from morning shopping to find unfamiliar shoes at the entrance. We exchanged wary glances before stepping inside. "You're finally back. We need to talk," his mother said, her voice unusually stern. In the living room sat Ka and her husband, looking smug. "Ah, you're finally here," she said casually. "Ka, what's going on?" Tom asked. "From today, we'll be living here, so please leave," she declared, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "What?" Tom and I froze, stunned. "What are you thinking? Moving in just like that?" I demanded. "It's not sudden. We've been discussing this with Mom and Dad for a long time," she said confidently. "Kai and I will take care of everyone. I'll handle the housework and look after them when needed. Please rely on us, Mom and Dad." With that, my in-laws finally showed their true colors. "With our daughter here, we don't need you anymore. A daughter-in-law who doesn't do housework or have children is no match for Ka." The words pierced me like knives. I felt my face flush with humiliation while my sister-in-law smirked, enjoying every second. "We'll pay the $473 monthly loan, okay?" she added, as if tossing a bone to a beggar. $473? I repeated, stunned. "Yes, it's a great deal for living in such a nice house," she said with a grin. Tom and I exchanged dumbfounded glances. It was clear, they had already decided to push us out. "Fine," I managed to say, though my voice trembled, "but we can't move immediately. Give us at least a week to find a place." "Fine," his mother said indifferently, already looking past us. The sister-in-law, however, was overjoyed. "Ah, I can't wait. A week from now, this house will finally be ours." That night, Tom and I agreed, we couldn't keep living with people who discarded us so easily. Within days, we viewed rentals and secured a place of our own. On the day we left, I stood by the entrance with our bags and faced them one last time. "Please take care of everything from now on, and don't ever get involved with us again." Their faces hardened, but I wasn't done. "Oh, by the way," I added casually, "there seems to be a little misunderstanding about the mortgage. It isn't $473. It's $1,825 every single month, just so you know. What? Their faces drained of color. That can't be true. Dad said it was only $473. Tom stepped in, his tone cold. The house is under Father's name, but Emily and I have been covering the payments, $473 from me, $1,352 from her, every month. Dad only remembered the transfers into his account, not the real total. Their jaws dropped. I'm a department head at a major corporation, I added flatly. I earn more than enough to cover my share, but now, it's your responsibility. You wanted this house, remember? Panic spread across their faces. My mother-in-law pleaded, "Wait, we were wrong. Let's go back to how things were before, living peacefully together." Tom shook his head. "No, you made your choice. Now live with it." We walked out and never looked back. Later, we heard the rest from neighbors. The in-laws and the sister-in-law's family couldn't keep up with the $1,825 mortgage plus expenses. Within a year, they had to sell the house, drowning in debt. Even after using the father-in-law's retirement benefits, they couldn't cover it. The sister-in-law's husband eventually ran away, leaving her to deal with the wreckage. If they had only stayed united with us, none of this would have happened. But it was no longer our concern. As for Tom and me, our rented apartment turned out to be cozier and more peaceful than we imagined, free from constant tension. We built a happier life. We saved money, treated ourselves occasionally, and focused on what really mattered, our future together. And this time, it was truly our own home, filled with peace,